Mayor Zohran Mamdani, this is a message for you. Do you remember when you said this?
As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Well, now I'm sure you've already heard that Itamar Ben-Gvir is planning to visit New York next month for one of the most oxymoronic conferences, if I've ever heard one. The United Nations Policing Conference, otherwise known as the UN COP Summit. And get this, under the title, Investing in Peace, the conference will take place July 7th and 8th, and we'll see security ministers and police chiefs around the world discussing strengthening international peace, security, and development for all through national and transnational police forces. Aside from cops being the literal arms of the oppressive authoritarian systems we are precisely trying to fight, I have to ask what the actual fuck the United Nations is trying to achieve here, especially by extending an invitation to a terrorist apartheid ethno-state currently enacting a genocide. A terrorist ethno-state that trains cops from all over the world to use oppressive, brutal violence and murder against ethnic minorities to establish their law and order. A terrorist ethno-state that was blacklisted by the UN itself twice. Once in 2024 for the systemic and purposeful harm and murder of children in conflict zones, and one this year for the systemic rape and sexual violence enacted on the Palestinian people. With international investigations currently underway for the rapes Israeli soldiers enacted on foreign nationals on the latest humanitarian flotilla mission. Rapes, torture, and abuse that this piece of shit celebrated and paraded on videos that he posted himself for the whole world to see. The same piece of shit that the even worse than Hitler terrorist himself, Benjamin Netanyahu, had to publicly condemn, not because it was wrong, but because of the PR nightmare he caused. The same piece of shit that not only celebrates the rape and torture of Palestinian hostages, but was one of the main government officials to push for the Israeli gang rapists caught on video raping a Palestinian to walk free. The same piece of shit that spearheaded the law to execute Palestinian hostages via hanging and celebrated its passing with a news cake given to him by his terrorist wife and his terrorist children. The same piece of shit that openly celebrated the death of a Palestinian baby, 18-month-old Ali Dawabsheh, back in 2015, as he praised the disgusting, filthy, inbred Israeli settler, murderer, Amiram Ben Olel, that killed baby Ali by burning him alive along with his parents. The same piece of shit that has a history of 8 criminal convictions, including a 2007 conviction for incitement to racism, whom was also a part of the Kach and Kahin Chai, which were both outlawed by the Israeli government and designated as foreign terrorist organizations by the United States. The same piece of shit that has openly called for the genocide of the Palestinians, the illegal thievery and invasion of Palestinian land, and provided weapons to terrorist Israeli settlers to terrorize and kill Palestinians to help achieve their continued land invasion with the support and protection of Israeli occupation soldiers and police that he sends. The same piece of shit that just publicly called for the entirety of Lebanon to burn. The same piece of shit that the highest court on the planet, the ICC, is currently seeking an arrest warrant for. The same piece of shit that publicly spits on the United Nations time and time and time again. And this piece of shit still has the opportunity to just waltz on into a United Nations event to lecture the world on international policing. The fact that the UN allows Israel to even exist, let alone have a seat at the table, is what delegitimizes the UN as a completely useless entity only meant to keep the global south in check. That and the fact that the UN is the reason Israel ever came to be in the first place. But I'm not here to speak to the UN. They should be embarrassed, as it is, from everything I just mentioned. But I'm here to speak to you, Mamdani. It is pretty clear that Itamar Ben-Gvir is one of the most dangerous terrorists on the face of this earth, if not the most dangerous. And not only does he not care that the entire international community collectively feels this way, but he openly flaunts and laughs about it to the world. So here's what I have to say to you. Sure, you are miles better than any mayor to ever step foot in those shoes in the history of New York City. But that doesn't mean much if you maintain the status quo against the systemic oppression and dehumanization of our people. You have made quite a few major mistakes thus far that I personally will have a hard time coming back from, such as condemning Palestinian resistance, visiting a terrorist rabbi's gravesite in his honor and to appease the Zionist community, sending a record number of armed police and security to protect quite literally the largest and most dangerous threats to our society at the Israel Day Parade. And last but certainly not least, not firing one of the most dangerous Zionists to ever exist in New York City, your police commissioner, Jessica Tisch. Now, the fact that a United Nations police summit even exists in the first place is laughable in itself, in the most dark humor kind of way. But one, if you send Jessica Tish, the most staunchly pro-Israel parasite, who is part of the family that is known to be one of the largest financial contributors to Israel's very existence, to that police summit, you will essentially be a complicit party to the oppression of people like us worldwide. And two, if you do not arrest Ben-Gvir upon his first step onto New York soil, let alone allow him to travel anywhere near here at all, you might as well call yourself a Zionist. Plain and simple. Your move, Mamdani. We are watching.